I think trauma from war is a very specific thing. That sort of trauma is so instant. It happens to anybody. It's, that sort of trauma, there's no background. There's no educational background. It doesn't matter if you're a man, if you're a woman, it doesn't matter who you are. It is indiscriminate in who it picks. And once it's got you, so many of those responses are so automatic and they're completely and totally traumatizing. You are back suddenly in a place that you thought you had left. One of the veterans the day before yesterday told me that he'd been sent to an NHS therapist, and the therapist has said, "This is too much for me to hear."
Wow. Hello and welcome to London Property. I'm your host Farnaz Fazaipour, and today we're here for a different reason than managing property wealth, which is to welcome the founder and CEO of a very important charity run by Gilly Norton called Supporting Wounded Veterans. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to hand it over to Gilly first, actually, to tell us about how this whole thing began.
I started 13 years ago watching men and women come back from Afghanistan severely injured. And my husband had MS very badly. So I could see how your life shrinks when you are very ill. And your challenge becomes, how do I get out of bed?
So tell us the mission statement of the charity. What would you say that is?
To rehabilitate and to help veterans find their own path with help from us back into life again. Because you can become extremely isolated if you're injured. And if you have hidden wounds, I think it's very difficult to do very simple things, to what appears simple to other people, like take the tube, take a train, go into a supermarket. But until you can do those things, you can't do anything. You can't go to your children's assembly, you can't take a job, you can't do anything. So how do you get people to feel comfortable again, surrounded by a lot of other people? How do you reduce that sense of heightened risk?
So how does the program sort of start and progress?
Well, it is very individually tailored to people because everybody is different. But we normally start either through people going through our pain clinics or people coming out skiing with us and getting to know us and then getting on. It's a funny thing, if I tell people from the forces that I can get them a job, I won't get much traction. But if I say, no matter your injury, would you like to throw yourself down a mountain? They're all up for it.
That's so brilliant. Because you do actually see when you're skiing, sometimes people who are being assisted, and you kind of sense that they're getting that freedom.
Yeah.
They can just slide down the mountain and get all that air.
Yeah.
It must have an impact.
A huge impact.
Yeah.
And I think also skiing in particular is the one sport that you can do no matter your injury.
The way that I became aware of the charity was when I was asked to help one of its recipients who's suffering from severe PTSD, Martin Wade, find his way back to employability. When I met Martin and realized what a talented artist he was, my first thought was to introduce him to my friend, the interior designer, Emma Detterding, who runs Kelling Design. And one thing led to another. We had a very successful evening where he showcased his art, sold a lot of pieces and got a lot of new followers.
Well, Martin came to us many years ago, having had a very top job in the army. He was the chief lawyer for both sides in Afghanistan, teaching not only soldiers what was okay in a theatre of war, what was legal, but also having to make very complicated and swift decisions on suicide bombers and all sorts of things like that. And eventually, he became traumatized. He started drinking too much. He was then let go from the army. He was medically discharged with PTSD. And then he couldn't really find any help. And eventually he came to us, and then we started supporting him. And he started to find that art was a very good way to help him deal with his trauma. And so he became an artist, so we introduced him to millions of people, you, and who very kindly supported him by buying art, helping him to make a living with that, and using that art to continue to get better. And it's been, very successful. He's had a brilliant mentor who's really opened up a lot of doors to him, but also really supported him through some horrible times. And he is definitely, I'm very pleased to say, on his way. Everybody at some point in their life will need a hand. And you hope that you would be the kind of person who wants to give a hand. So I think supporting the charity as a whole, so that we can support lots of Martins and lots of other people. There are lots of ways on our website, supportingwoundedveterans.com, where you can find ways to support us.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to come and see us. And obviously, we'd be delighted to support you in any way that we can. And we'll make sure to get this video out to all the right people. And a big thank you to Kelling for what they did.
Indeed.
And I'm sure that this video will go out to all of their supporters as well. So thank you. And anyone who is listening and who would like to help, tell us the website address.
www.supportingwoundedveterans.com.